Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge with another day of Moonrise reveals! Okay, so before we get into it, as always, it is not Like a Void Day, unfortunately. I was really hoping it would be Like a Void today. I really want to know what Like a Void does so that I can really start testing that Lunar Phase deck, but it's not Like a Void today, unfortunately. However, there is some cool stuff today. And also, we have some Clash Creator Box reveals, two more happened over the course of the last 24 hours since I recorded the last video. So let's go over those. So first we have from MBT, we have Dragalis, which is a 3-cost solar and fire. So it's 2 solar, 1 fire. Is a 13 attack, 5 defense. That 5 defense is not like a great stat, not the sort of thing you really want to be seeing. Like Chrono Scorch has that, but like Chrono Scorch is supposed to be like just ending the game, going for a game shot. So like, So Dragalis is you can expend 1 fire in order to suppress each face-up card on an opponent's field until the end phase. Then enchant Solar from your Spirit deck and slash or underworld to this Dragalis up to the number of cards suppressed this way. So, I don't think this card is very good. We need to see the Ascension line, of course. Like, obviously, this is going to have an Ascension line, and if that has, like, really good, like, special Ascension conditions, and pulls it from deck, etc., then this could be super solid. I can easily see a world where this ends up, like, super solid because of that. But on face, this does not seem very good. Suppressing the field for your turn does not have a ton of applications, a ton of like really powerful applications. It doesn't target so that it can allow you to remove any of the towers, but this can also just like directly beat over them anyway. So like I don't think that's that big of a deal. And like that's still a fairly niche application to begin with, so it's not a huge deal that it does that. I don't know. So like enchanting from the underworld is pretty cool and can allow it to hit for some really big damage. But I think end of the day, if you want that sort of Elestral, Arcliffe does that job a lot better and a lot more consistently and a lot easier to access. Like it's just a way better card at doing that job. So I'm not a huge fan of this card. I don't think this is going to be very good, but hey, maybe it'll get a crazy special Ascension line that'll fix it. But with an effect that's this middling and like a defense stat that bad, I'm kind of skeptical about that being the case. We also have from Matt O'Shea from their care package, their creator box. This is a big one. So this is Hurricane. This is a tri-element invoke rune. I really like what they've done to demonstrate the tri-element. Like on this side you have the wind coloring, this side you have the water coloring as expected. But down here on the rarity you have the thunder coloring, which is really cool. Normally, if we look over here, normally what you would have is this rarity line down here would be half would be light colored, half would be fire colored. But on Hurricane, it's just you just thunder color. They just thunder color the whole thing. So that's pretty neat. I'm a fan of that. This card's crazy. This card's crazy. So Dan mentioned in the Discord a few times before Moonrise reveal started, before we even saw Gloombat, that there would be like 3 cards in the set that punish people for setting multiple cards. Gloombat was obviously the first of those, and Hurricane seems to be the second of those. So it just pops all face down runes. My main concern with adding a Heavy Storm type rune to the game was that you would catch Divines and Stadiums in the Crossfire, which I thought was like not a good idea. Hurricane is really powerful, but I think it's more powerful in the way that'll change how people play. Because between this and Gloombat being in the format, it will now be extremely risky to set multiple. But if you're just setting one every turn, then Hurricane is way less efficient than a Blizzard or a Thunderstorm. So that's important to note. I think it'll be like sideboard no matter what. Definitely, like, some people will at least carry it in sideboard. Because, like, one of the things about the 3 elements it takes is that it's wind, thunder, and water. And almost every deck in the game is already on thunder and water. So it is extremely easy to fit, like, the one wind you need for the Spirit Mass to work for Hurricane. Which is pretty cool. I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, maybe you should have made it fire, solar, wind cost so that people really have to pay for their heavy storm if they want it. But it's fine this way. It's fine this way. I'm cool with it being this way. My one concern is if we just ever get like some big OTK combo deck. I don't care for the way this lets you just go, okay, I'm gonna blow up every way you could possibly interact with this, and then I'm gonna do my stupid combo. But Chariot Ride already created that problem, and is like more expensive and requires specific elements. So like in that way, it's definitely more balanced than Chariot Ride. But if that ever becomes a problem, both this and Chariot Ride will be issues. But you could just choice restrict it. Just use choice restricts. It's a tool you can use. Use choice restricts. It's good. Okay. Yeah, like it's a bit scary to think of the prospect of like a Blazerous OTK deck going, Hurricane! Bye, back row. Okay, I will now do my plays. But also, if that ever becomes like the main way that OTK decks are ensuring they get off their OTK, this is an Invoke Rune, which means you can Divine Blessing it. And Divine Blessing is pretty fine even if you're losing a guy, if it means that you're able to keep your other back row and just play ignorantly against Hurricane. So yeah, that card's cool. Okay, let's get into the reveals from the video today. So today we have Posthumoose. I thought that there were some indications that I might have been Nike Void, and I was really hoping for that because I really want to start like testing with Lunar Phase stuff, and we really need Nike Void before we can really start doing that. But unfortunately, it was not. We are instead getting Posthumoose. Which is, there aren't a whole lot of new reveals here because we already know a bunch of these, because Posthumoose was the stained glass for celebrations. Fondlet was in Shard Stars Lunar, and then one of the other cards in here is Comalus, which got leaked. The one remaining card is kind of huge. So first we have Fondlet. This is the normal art of Fondlet. Just to go over it again, is a 3/2. It is not a spectral Elestral, unfortunately. Posthumoose is, and that's relevant because spectral Elestrals are searchable by Comalus. So Fondlet is on cast. You search your deck for an Artemis or a Therahart. Therahart is the 2-cost Ascension that we'll be getting into in a moment. You add them to your hand. Then this Fondlet gets +1 defense for each Lunar enchanting each Artemis on the field. So default, if you just give max number of spirits to Artemis, which you're definitely going to want to be doing in this deck, as we'll be getting into, it will be a 6 defender, which is huge stats. Massive stats. And then they go Eddie, switch it to attack, and you flip over the Lunar Phase. You flip over the Lunar Phase combat trick and go, your Eddie dies now. But yeah, that defense stat is incredible. And you can, like, even against like Eddies, you can use like Tsunami defensively to put it back in defense. And now, oops, 6 defense. Have fun getting over that. Yeah, really cool card. Really fantastic. You'll still die to like Zeus and Demeter, but you just need to be able to protect it and then ascend up, and you'll be cool. Okay. And then here is the base art of Artemis. Looks very nice, honestly. Like, looks much better than like all the other divines we've gotten. Wow, that's like actually really good. But yeah, if you've forgotten, Artemis is a divine for Lunar. You can, when you cast it, you can enchant up to 3 extra Lunars to it. And then you can disenchant a Lunar from this Artemis in order to target an opponent's face-up card and suppress it until the opponent's next end phase. So, back on what I said about Demeter or Zeus, that is like assuming they haven't put it down yet. If they've put it down already, you can just turn it off for the next turn, which is really cool. Really powerful card. Then we have Therahart. Okay, this thing is crazy. So it's like, it's non-spectral again, so you can't search it with Comelus. But this card is nuts. This card is crazy. So this is a 6/4 double lunar. When a player activates a counter rune, you can disenchant 2 lunar from your Artemis in order to negate that rune. Then you may special ascend this Therahart to Posthumoose from your hand or deck. This card is insane. This card is this card, like, by itself is like reason to run a deck around Artemis, because negating a counter rune on like a 6/4 body, on an Ascension body, is so strong. That is crazy. That is insane. That's insane. Like, this like, forget Posthumoose. This is the build around. Therahart is the build around. Like, an Ascension that can just inherently negate counter runes is so powerful. It's why people try to, like, it's the selling point of it's the entire selling point of Theramoth is the fact that that it can negate runes and protect itself. And this is like a lower cost Ascension in a color that is able to turbo out Ascensions really easily with like Gloombat and Ectoplasm and all sorts of stuff that can help you turbo out an Ascension. Plus, it's searchable. It's not even once per turn either. And the special Ascension to Posthumoose is completely optional. Just completely optional. You don't even need to do it. You can just stay on the Therahart and just keep going. Okay, I still have 2 on my Artemis. Okay, I'm just gonna keep this up as a threat. And Eddie won't get over this. Artemis shuts down Susan Demeter. Wow, this card is so powerful. Wow, I'm so impressed by this card. Like, this is arguably the best lunar card we've seen. This card's crazy. Wow, like, its stat line is well balanced too. Oh wow, it's just really good. Like, especially if this full moon does. I need to pull up full moon. Okay, full moon can only enchant to Elestrals on your field. If full moon could re-enchant your Artemis, that would have been really huge. That would have been massive. The biggest restricting factor on this card right now is the fact that, like, you are only going to get 2 uses out of this if you don't use Artemis a single time. But that's still super strong. Even 1 use and going into Posthumoose and then using Posthumoose to destroy whatever Artemis targets is still really strong. This is a very powerful card. Wow, I'm so impressed by this card. This is really good. Yeah, wow. This starter deck seems like notably better than the Nobby one, because this Ascension line just seems so much better. It's so powerful. Like, all 3 stages are just doing good stuff. They're just doing good, solid stuff. Like, Posthumoose, I've gone back and forth on because like counter rune removal becomes more important because Earthquake and Laurels are gone. So the counter rune immunity is pretty good, but if a bunch of people are splashing in lunar face engines, then full moon, then new with like new moon, then it becomes a bit less impressive. But with a special ascender like this, who cares? It's good enough. Yeah, it's good enough. You negate a counter rune. You can put down this body. You pressure your opponent. When they go for any counter rune, you negate it. You go into your big 13-11 that can't be hit by counter runes. Wow, really powerful, really strong stuff. Very impressed. Okay, it's really unfortunate that this is the starter deck that is illegal out of the box. Because it has 2 Earthquake. But you can just replace that Earthquake with a card from the packs that you get with it, so it'll be fine. Wow, very impressed. Very impressed. And then where's the Posthumoose art? There's Posthumoose. Yeah, Posthumoose is just like a 13/11. It's searchable by Comalis. When your Artemis suppresses a card, you can target and destroy that card. And then while Artemis is enchanted, this Posthumoose is unaffected by counterance. I think this is a deck that is going to really appreciate playing down your Divine Rune multiple times. So I think you're going to go like 3/3 on Searcher and Artemis because it can get there's a lot of potential value it can get off of just using it multiple times. Yeah, this is really strong. I'm really impressed by Therahart brought this whole Ascension line together. Wow, really, really good stuff. And then lastly, here is the official reveal of Comalis. We've talked about this before when we were talking about the leaks, but this is a 4/2, 1 cost. It is a spectral. You can Nexus up to 2 Lunars. When you do, you can search your deck for a Spectral Elestral and add your hand. Naturally, as a deck revolving around a Divine, Nexus stuff is pretty solid in the context of this deck. So it's very nice to just have a really solid searcher like this. This can search out Specteris, it can search out Ferrogeist, and I'm sure we'll see more and more stuff that this is able to search out as the set reveals continue. Cannot search out Gloombat, very important, very important. But yeah, this card is like the big difference maker between Exaltus and Comalis is that Comalis is a 4/2. That four stat line is a huge game changer because 4 is like a real attack stat, and under Temple of the Moon, it's going to become a 5/3, which is really nice stats. Just like overall, really, really nice card. Yeah, this card's really good. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. I wouldn't be surprised if we move to some non-lunar reveals in tomorrow's video. Because like we have covered, like we've done the big cover card and all the lunar phases related to it, and we have done both star decks. So we have covered like all of the like baseline cover card lunar stuff. So I would not be surprised at all if we start seeing like stuff from other colors now, which I'm excited to see. I mean, like the lunar stuff is exciting, but I'm also really excited to see what stuff the other colors are going to be getting this set. With that said, that's going to be it for me today. With that said, this is Hunter Surge signing off.